Satnam, good morning. This is Ram Krishan Singh from the Radiant Heart, and today I'm coming to share with you all about some principles that I've talked about in previous posts about living from the heart, shifting our consciousness and our perspective from the head to the heart virtues, and a couple of practical practices that a person could practice if a person wants to. So this idea, we live in a world, in our society, especially the Western culture, and especially in North America and the United States, or any Western civilization where the realm that we live in is primarily the thought realm and the mental realm, the concepts realm, and the words and talking and just grabbing onto descriptions, but instead of really connecting with reality, we're living in such a almost disconnected, isolated, conceptual experience of our reality that it sort of masks or creates a buffer between that world that we operate within and the reality of experience, which in the southern hemisphere, at least when I've spent time in South America, I've experienced a great deal of heart-centeredness, and the people just much more present and open and dynamic, and the energy is just very different. And so these two centers operate at different frequencies. And like I said in previous posts, that they're different realms entirely. It's different layers of our experience. They're different worlds and realities in themselves. So the mental realm is one world that is complete reality, and the emotional realm, or the perception and expression of the heart, is a completely different realm and world. And we just, as a multidimensional being, have all these experiences operating simultaneously to give us a really rich uh, environment of experience, multidimensional experience. But human beings operate primarily from a predominant realm, and that's becomes their fixation point of perception, and then expression comes from, if a person becomes very mental and operates up there, and again, the Western culture and the Northern Hemisphere, we tend to do that. It it is one way of perceiving the world and interacting with the world. If we're operating from the heart, it's a different way. If we're operating from the sacral center, it's a very different way, very more emotional and give and take and looking for things, and it exchange oriented, but it's a very like watery and juicy sort of center. But all of these centers have different arenas and experiences entirely. So this work, what my mission is here to share, is to shift our realm of perception, our primary point of perception, from the head, or wherever we're coming from, to the heart. And this idea is that the heart is a supreme intelligence. The energy of the heart is connected with the energetics of our center of being, our soul, the point of light that we are at the core and centermost of our identity. When we isolate all of what we've learned and experienced down to its essential component, that that point of perception, that point of identity, is centered in the heart, which is also the center of our upper three chakras. The lower three chakras, the heart is in the center. And if you look at, traditionally, there's I think they're called yantra of the heart chakra. It's the Merkaba, or the Star of David, or whatever you want to call it. It's one triangle pointing up, one triangle pointing down, but it creates a star, but it's a complete balanced expression and point is the heart. So the heart scientifically has the strongest electromagnetic field and therefore impact in the environment in a way that we don't actually need to really do anything other than be. And we're impacting the environment. Our electromagnetic field is contributing and communicating with the Earth's electromagnetic field and other electromagnetic fields that we're interacting with. It's just getting input from our mere being. And that electromagnetic field extends about 9 feet in all directions. So we're impacting our environment every moment. So there are a lot of studies nowadays done how the coherence of our emotional state contributes to our ability to have a consistent electromagnetic field, a coherent electromagnetic field, organized, ordered, patterned in a way that supports life. It's life promoting just by having a regularity to our emotions. And our emotional realm is, again, one of these realms that we don't necessarily operate primarily from. Some people do. But if we're very much in the head, that becomes very much oftentimes quieted or pushed down, so we're not even aware of what's going on. But just as equally as we need to cultivate a sense of ability to navigate our thoughts and the mental realm, to focus our mind, to be able to think and be creative and logical and just cultivate the health of our mental realm, so too do we need to cultivate the health of our emotional realm. And just in the same way that if we're just letting the emotions flow and not paying attention to it and just feeling it's something that happens and we have no participation in, it is denying a vital aspect of our reality and our being. So this topic is about learning how to come more in touch with that aspect of ourselves. And the more that we do that, the more that our center of perception shifts so that we actually experience that world, our world, primarily from the heart. And the heart has a way of perceiving that is very universal. The heart operates in the present moment. The heart speaks a language of vibration. It's a language of feeling. And there's a spectrum of feeling from anything very unpleasant to something very blissful and pleasant. But the whole realm of feeling is non-dualistic because it doesn't judge. It doesn't judge the experience. It can be very intense. It can be on one polarity, but at the same time, it's the mind that creates the divisions by giving it a calculated, compartmentalized label or name that it isolates that experience from all the rest of the experience. The heart doesn't do that. The heart is just this ocean of experience and possibility. So when we shift ourselves into that realm, we experience our reality more as a flow of life, more as a non-dualistic, complete sort of absorption into the moment. And that's a reality. That is a very valid reality. That's a completely different world than operating in a different center of perception. So the types of practices, what we really want to cultivate is the understanding that our moment-to-moment existence is an artistic expression of our authentic self. That we don't necessarily need to operate in a survival mechanism reactive way. We don't have to just react to the moment and try to survive and just take what's happening and then try to adapt ourselves to everything that's happening. We can come from a place that is centered in this sense of wholeness, of our authentic, timeless self, that center point of being. We can come from that place. And when we're operating moment to moment from this place, we're able to creatively contribute to the moment from a place of sovereignty where we're not looking for anything. We're not looking to get anything from the moment. We're not looking even to protect ourselves from the moment. It's a place of complete sense of contentment, ease, and peace, because it's truly untouched by the experience itself. It is that timeless perceiving point. And we're able to say, okay, this moment, I'm going to operate out of this frequency of love. So there's some philosophy in this, but the philosophy part is all of life is the fullest expression of source. Okay? Source, whatever you want to call God, creator, infinity, whatever you want to call it. Source is the source of all things. All things find their origin in source. All things are the fullest expression of source in this moment, and that expression is pure love, because the nature of reality is goodness. And there is an overarching plan of why all of these things happen that seem to be unpleasant and not good, but there is a process that is a divinely orchestrated and ordered process of unfolding of that awareness and consciousness of who we are, the nature of reality, and then actualizing the fullest expression of that realization of who we are. That is all orchestrated by an intelligence of love. Love is an intelligence, and love is a reality beyond time, beyond space, beyond birth, beyond death, and therefore it holds all of creation in an eternal womb of gestation, of creative possibility. And by tapping into that truth and that reality, we begin to become an instrument of that truth, that reality, that vibration, that essence that's timeless. And that's also the same frequency that our core identity operates at, because each of our core identities are a fragment of that eternal truth that is the wholeness of all creation. So by tuning into that frequency, we enable ourselves to become instruments of that frequency, and through the virtues of the heart, we're able to express that pure reality through us in a spectrum of different qualities of love. Love is broken into different virtues, which is the form of expression that love takes when it comes into manifestation in this world of time and space, and especially at this time of our evolutionary trajectory on planet Earth. So how much time am I at? 13 minutes. I'm going to break into part 2